Skip Radwani to share welcome and announcements.
Welcome everyone. I'm here instead of our president, Linda Barr, who is recovering from an illness right now and sends her best regards. Tomorrow night is our Shabbat Service, which begins the High Holy Day season. Enjoy dessert and wine in the Mishkan, weather permitting, at 7:30, followed by a service in the sanctuary at 8. A shofar blowing class with David Kalish will be held this Sunday at 11 a.m. at the gift shop. The gift shop will also be open starting at 9:50. If you have volunteered to deliver gift bags for congregants over 80, remember to pick up your bag Sunday from 9 to noon or Monday from 9:30 to 4:30. Thank you to all our volunteers for your time and energy in this yearly project. If you order collard set for Rosh Hashanah from the Sisterhood, remember to pick it up on Thursday from noon to 2 p.m. at Temple. That's Thursday from noon to 2 p.m. at Temple. The Sisterhood Baby Shachter Luncheon is still offering finger desserts for Rosh Hashanah luncheon. Drop off is Thursday from 9 to 2 or Friday from 9 to noon. And Temple Israel's memorial service will be held at Rose Hill Burial Park on Sunday, September 17th at 1 p.m.
Thank you, Skip. If you'll turn to those around you, say Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everybody. We are using our High Holy Day prayer books, our Rosh Hashanah prayer books this evening. Tomorrow night for Slichot, we'll be using our Yom Kippur, the Yom Kippur volume. So this is good practice, but it's also we've done this in the past because this new Machzor, when it came out now a while ago, about 10 years ago, it has more pages than we could ever touch at the holidays, and they were beautifully put together. And so it's an opportunity for us as we get in the mood of the High Holy Days to hear some of the poetry, to look at some of the pages that maybe we won't get to share communally over the next 2 weeks, but to get in the mood of the High Holy Days. So some of the words tonight will be in the tone of talking about a new year, and there is they didn't ask me for some reason, but had they asked me, I would have asked them to put Lachadodi in the prayer book. They did not put Lachadodi in the Erev Rosh Hashanah prayer book. I don't know why, but they chose not to do that. So that prayer will not be in the prayer book. So we'll do our best tonight to do that one from heart. So we'll start with Hinei Matov, page 6, which is in the prayer book, thankfully, as we'll sing together, and then we'll invite Susan Clements to light our candles.
Hinei matov
Susan forward to light our Shabbat candles, and she'll be sharing the reading, which is found page 11. Thank you.
Creation's brightest light, the mystics say, was hidden at the dawn of time. But in this sacred night, this night of hope and joy, a glimmer of that light is here, in candles' flame, in children's eyes, in eyes that glow with wisdom's light. It shines in the faces of the ones we love, in grateful hearts, in tears of loss. It lives in memories of goodness and in our own desire to do right, to try again, to build anew, to ask forgiveness and make peace. We enter this new year and look upon the beauty of these lights. So may the days of awe renew the light within us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. If you'll raise the Kiddush cup.
Will you hold that one? That's okay. I didn't tell you. I know.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodeshu b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techilah
L'mikra'e kodesh.
zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu
Bacharta Yotanu.
Hidashta mikohanim v'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava
Uvratzon Inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh.
HaShabbat.
Amen.
Chaim.
On page 12. This is the season of the soul, a time to rejoice, a time to reflect, a time to return. A time to gather around the table with loved ones and friends. A time for song and silence, for prayer and confession to open the heart. A time to retreat to our sanctuaries within. A time to renew the life and spirit of our community. This is the season of attentiveness. A time to notice what has unfolded and what has not. A time to regret, a time to forgive, a time to remember cherished dreams and high ideals erased by reality. This is the season of hope. Like mist rising at sunset, like dew descending at dawn, our hopes beautify and nourish everything they touch. Our hopes make us partners in creation, pursuers of peace, people who aspire to a world of justice. This is the season of awe. When our eyes behold it, may we feel blessed. When we turn toward each other, let us feel strength. When we seek the holy, may we find purpose. May we find courage. May we find love. L'chadodi, we welcome this last Shabbat of this year now into this Mishkan and into our community, whether you're joining us from home or whether you are here in our outdoor sanctuary. The last stanza will turn towards the entrance to our sacred spaces and welcome Shabbat in.
L'chadodi likrat kala
סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני
עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. Please rise in body or in spirit and face your sacred space. בואי בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם
בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה.
בואי חלה.
בואי חלה.
Turn back around.
לך דודי לקראת קלה,
פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. Please turn to page 14 for Shalom Aleichem.
You can be seated if you'd like. Page 14.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon.
Melech Malachi Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Orchem l'shalom Malachi Hashalom
Malachi Elyon.
Melech Malachi Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu l'shalom,
Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Melech Malachi Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Tzedchem l'shalom,
Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Melech
Malachi Hamlachim.
Kadosh Baruch Hu. May we renew our words of prayer tonight, restore their luster, bring them to life as we let song and silence and sounds like that of the shofar awaken our souls. Please rise, page 20.
La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Page 23. The quickening of the moon calls us to return, and we gather, seam dwellers on the edge of the earth. As the sun lowers itself into the sea, introspection rises. A sliver cracks the heart of the firmament, the vast blackness and invitation to write ourselves anew. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim. Page 24. Page 26 and 27, Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Yehud Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Be seated. Please join me on the next page, 28 for Via Hashra. V'ata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayilu hadvarim ha'ele asher Elohim mitzavecha hayom olavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lavtecha b'derech u'b'shofecha u'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'yisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם מכל מצוותיי הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Please join me responsively, page 33. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart.
To break the bonds of shame, to live with self-respect.
To break the bonds of envy, to serve one another in joy.
To break the bonds of boredom, to be attentive to all God's gifts.
To break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength.
To untie the knots of betrayal, to love with fullness of being.
To break the bonds of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope.
To break the bonds of self-centeredness, to extend a hand of help.
Released from the darkness, our people found their freedom at the sea. And we pray for liberation at the dawning of this year. Turn the page 34.
Our prayer for peace. As we lay down and wake up in the morning, we say this to our children. That we hope we have a sense of renewed strength when we wake up in the morning. Hashkivenu.
Picture popped up on my page today that said heaven on earth, and the background was a football stadium filled with fans. Because for many people, this time of year, what reminds them of their favorite place is the sound of fall football happening as its opening weekend for a lot of people. For us, sometimes we compare the holidays that are coming to our Super Bowl. That's a common parallel that's made. It's not really the same.
Yes.
Depending on your perspective. But we do a lot to try to make the space even more special, holy, heavenly, by using books that are silver and gold, by wearing robes that are white, by dressing in our best clothes, by using music that we don't use other parts of the year. And while that may or may not look like what you think is the most heavenly space, we hope that when you're in our community, whether you're at home, whether you're in our sanctuary, whether you're out here in our Mishkan, that some of those symbols call to you and say, this is what heaven looks like to me, even if you close your eyes. And that's what, so this prayer on page 39, which seems so out of place for this time of year, I think is someone's image of what they imagine at Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Standing on the snow-covered plain, as if in a pasture amid the hills, I cut my way first through a foot of snow, and then a foot of ice, and open a window under my feet, where, kneeling to drink, I look down into the quiet parlor of the fishes, pervaded by a softened light as through a window of ground glass, with its bright sanded floor the same as in summer. There a perennial waveless serenity reigns as in the amber twilight sky, corresponding to the cool and even temperament of the inhabitants. Heaven is under our feet, as well as over our heads. And we have a sense of that sacred space as we enter into these holy days. And as we turn to page 42 for the words of our Amidah, our prayer that we hope takes us back in time, brings us into the present, and allows us to envision a bright future all in one series of pages. Page 42, please rise.
Adonai sifatai tifta ufi agita hilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevei Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechakel Chaim
Chesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Pal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Mimit Umechayeh, Umatmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai,
Mechayei
Hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom, Yehalalucha Salah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el Kadosh. Please be seated. We turn now to page 63 before we share the words of Shalom Rav. Modim anachnu lach, our words to give thanks. We can look back not only on this week, but perhaps this time of year we look back on our entire year. Much of the questions we'll be asking ourselves in the coming weeks will be about the places in which we misstepped, the wrongs that are on our hands, the ways that we want to improve. So perhaps this is a moment, and when we take the words of Modim anachnu lach and we say thank you, Thank you for the moments that have been good ones. Let's take account of the good along with the challenges. God who is ours, God of all generations, to you we are grateful. Rock and protector of our lives, your saving power endures from age to age. We thank you and tell the tale of your praise. Your power in our lives, your caring for our souls, the constant miracle of your kindness. Morning, noon, and night, we call you goodness. For your compassion never ends. We call you mercy, for your love has no limit. We call you hope, now and for all time. Shalom Rav, page 66.
For silent meditation and peruse the pages of 68 through 70, and we will close our silent meditation with Oseh Shalom.
So I want to share a story that is said to have been shared by a rabbi in the 1800s, trying to convince his congregants to come to services more often. So that's to say that this is not a new trend. But I also realize that tonight perhaps is a night where this story is preaching to the choir. Because if you're here tonight, 1 week before Rosh Hashanah, the night before Slichot, many of you will probably be here tomorrow night, you're probably not the ones who need the message to come more often. But you are going to be the ones who hopefully will be able to pass the message on to other people. And I hope that we can do a good job of sharing that message, not only because we want people to be at the synagogue and be involved in Judaism always more frequently, but because we believe that there's value. And this is the time of year, much like secular New Year, where people will, we pledge to go on a diet in January, we pledge to show up more often in September. So people show up and say, this is going to be the year I go to Torah study, and this is going to be the year I come to services, as often as I can, and this is going to be the year I have Shabbat dinner every Friday night. And we make those pledges. So this would be my pitch, not for the what, but for the why. So the rabbi told the story of a man who lost his business in a fire. Everything was destroyed. He lost not only all of his goods, but he was in debt to his vendors who he had purchased the goods from. And he goes to his friend, absolutely beside himself. He says, I don't know what I'm going to do. Not only do I have nothing to sell, but I owe money to these people I've been doing business with for years. His friend says, well, why don't you go to your supplier, the one that you've known the longest, knock on his door, tell him your story, you didn't do anything wrong, and see what happens. So he goes up to the supplier, and he walks up the walkway, and right before he gets to the door, he wimps out. He starts to cry, and he turns around, and at that moment, the story says, the owner of the house, the supplier, opens the door, sees the man crying, recognizes his friend and partner in business, and says, what's the problem? He tells him his whole story. And he says, you should never hesitate to come to me. Not only will I forgive your debt, but I'm going to give you money to start back up again. So that would be enough for it to be the end of the story, but it's not. A year goes by, and the man who had been so kind to his business partner and friend gets another knock on the door. It's his neighbor. His neighbor's crying. He says, I've lost my business, and I know you've helped other people out, because I was watching last year when this man came up to your house. He was crying. He had lost everything he had, and you helped him out. So I want you to help me out too. The man cut him off, also knowing that he actually hadn't lost anything. He said, the man who came last year was somebody I knew. He's somebody I worked with every week. I knew his face, I knew his voice, I knew his life, and I knew I could trust him. So of course I helped him out. But you can't just show up on this day, with us having never talked to each other, and expect me to save you the way I would save somebody who I've worked with every day of my life. So the rabbi who told this in the 1800s says this is supposed to be our relationship to God. If you come once a year, you try to talk to God, and then you get disappointed God doesn't give you what you want, you're not coming enough. I think of it a little differently. I don't know that I would say that about God. I would hope that in whatever way we understand God, that perhaps God would be merciful and forgiving enough that some sort of presence is there no matter what we've done or when we ask. But people, on the other hand, people are different. And so I think as we enter into our holidays, and I know for many of you here who are those who participate in Judaism often and throughout the year, what we know is that it's not a fluency in Hebrew or knowledge of Jewish law, while those help, and I encourage you to learn those also if you don't. It's the sounds and the smells and the faces, the sights, the way that we can understand the holidays in the context of the other holidays that gives them depth. It's the fact that when you're at Rosh Hashanah, you know what's different about Rosh Hashanah than Hanukkah or Sukkot or Shabbat in January versus a Shabbat in October. There's something to be said for that familiarity. And so, on our last Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah, my pitch is, come to the holidays, and then come to the other holidays. Come to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur when we are so serious, and then 3 days later, come to Sukkot in your jeans. Come enjoy coffee with the cantor. Come enjoy scotch with me. We have it all in the window that came out today. Yeah, you can come to the scotch too, but they put my name by the scotch, and they put your name by the coffee. A couple days after that is Simchat Torah. We get to bless our kindergartners, and this year, because last year we had a little bit of fun with the music, this year we're having what we're calling our Simchat Torah Hoedown. We're going to have line dancing with our little ones right after we open up and tell the whole story of the Torah. Hanukkah, of course, the smells and the tastes of latkes. Passover, our time to talk about freedom. You know all of the headlines. The point is not to fill seats. The point is that when you experience the fullness of the Jewish year with all of the Shabbatot that punctuated in between all of these holidays, and then you come to Rosh Hashanah, that's when Rosh Hashanah gives you the most it can give you. And we know lives are busy, and we know that it can't happen for everybody every year. And we know everybody, no matter if they come 52 times a year or they come once, they all feel the same level of guilt for the one time that they missed. But the point I think that we have to share with each other is that frequency matters. Because ultimately, why are we here? We're here because when someone has a fire in their house, we want to recognize them. And we're here because when we have that fire in our house, we want to go somewhere where people are going to help us. And we know that when we come here throughout the year, that's what we create. And chances are, hopefully, the times when the fire is in our own house are going to be few. But the times where we can help recover, rebuild, put out the fire in someone else's house are perhaps constant. And if you're here, you know that. Because every week there's someone who lost someone, every week there's somebody who lost a job, every week there's somebody who's struggling with something, every week we have a full list of people on our Misha Berach list who are sick and who are asking for us to help through our prayers. And so when people say to me, as has been said for centuries, well, you know, I'm not sure if being a part of the synagogue is right for me because I don't get anything from it. I don't use it enough. Ultimately, the answer is the synagogue is there because other people need you, not because you need it. And the more we can participate, the more we can be there for those who are around us, the more familiar we are with their faces, the more we're going to find that it's serving us as well. So it makes a difference, not only to the synagogue, but in the unexpected moments when someone we recognize knocks on our door. And so we enter into our new year. And for all of those who are going to make pledges to be around more often, we want to help you do that. And we say thank you, because what you're saying is you're willing to be there for when that knock on the door comes. Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova. May be a peaceful day, and may we have a sweet start to this new year together. We'll turn now to our Torah. The service is found on page 227, as we're going to invite Larry Roth forward as our blesser for the Aliyah, and we're going to invite Bruce Folkerth forward as our reader of Torah this evening. We especially love those people who sign up to read Torah the week before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So you all can come forward. You can have the honor of opening the Ark and carrying the Torah as well. As we rise, we turn to page 200 and, when I say 27, for our Torah service. בשמיים ובארץ.
לך אדוני המלך, המתנשא לכל הראש. על שלושה דברים, 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 על שלושה דברים,
Please be seated. We'll invite Larry to lead us in our prayer.
Baruch Adonai Barak.
Baruch Adonai Barak Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Barak Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. No, whatever, however you want.
Amen. Atem nitzavim hayom kolkem lifnei Adonai Elohechem roshechem shiftechem zignechem v'shobrechem kol ish Yisrael tachem yishechem bagercha asher b'kerev magenecha mekotev etzecha ad shoev mimecha leovrecha bivrit Adonai Elohecha u'alato Adonai asher Elohecha koretimcha hayom.
Well done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah v'emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochen. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yeshua. Well done. See? Nothing to worry about. Well done. You can go back to your seats now. Oh, you are lifting, right? We have to, we'll do Mishmerach first. Let's see. You can do it. So the passage that Bruce shared, he's like a bar mitzvah kid. He takes a big deep breath. Breathe for the first time. So it's Atem Nitzavim. It's part of our Torah portion this week. Is also what we'll read at Yom Kippur. It's our section that says all of us are here. It's a way of reminding us. I think one of the reasons that we read at the holidays is it catches the sentiment of what so many of us feel at the holidays. That truly, kulchem, all of us are here. All of us are in the sanctuary. All of the faces of our parents and loved ones whom we've lost are in our minds. All of our kids are running around the hallways. All of us are in the same place at the same time. In the Torah portion it says from wood chopper to water drawer, the rich to the poor, the people who are working class to the people who don't have to work, all of us together, men and women, are in one place. And we are there because we accept this responsibility together. So it's very much a taste of the words to come at the holidays, and thank you, Bruce, for doing a great job. We'll take a moment now to share our prayers for those who are in need of healing, the words of Misha Berach while our Torah is out, and then we'll invite Larry to lift our Torah before us as we return it to the ark.
And let us say, Amen.
If there are names you'd like to to share, please share them as we look around the room.
As we lift our Torah. Page 246. Et Chaim hi lamachzikim ba v'tomecha meushar deracheiha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Turn to page 82 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu gaham, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu
seated.
Take this time now as we remember loved ones. Our thoughts turn to them, those that death has taken from us, especially those in recent days, as well as those who've died at this season in years past. This time of year, as we feel that many of the holidays throughout the year, the faces of our loved ones are in the forefronts of our minds, the ways in which they perhaps used to sit next to us at this time of year, the food that they cooked, the sound of their voice, it's clear at this time of year. And so we pay attention to their story and the blessing that they brought to us. We remember those that we've lost in these last 30 days. Dr. Herbert Kern and Mitchell Ehrenberg. And So too we remember Louis Herman Aronson, William Ashe, Morris Azine, Joseph Brill, Martha Brown, Rodalie Butlin, Helen Ellison, Alan Emanuel, Celia Gordon, Harvey Himmel, David Kay, Bertha Wolfand Corman, Henry Krakauer, William Kushner, Maxine Levy, William Loftus, Bernice Marks, George Mild, David Nelson, Lillian Nelson, Mildred Nelson, Aaron Bear Profis, Tony Riceberg, Lois Salpeter, E. Schlesinger, David Shapiro, Edna Shapiro, Sidney Schechter, Albert Sturman, Helen Tarr, Dale Jack Vendelin, Ronald Weiner, Joseph Whitelaw, Sarah Whitelaw, and Ben Wise. If there are names I mispronounced or names you'd like to add, please share them. Please rise as we turn to page 292. We say together, Yit Gadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah V'Alma Divra Chirutei V'Amlich Malchutei V'Chayechon V'Yomechon V'Chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael V'Agalau V'Zman Kari V'Imru Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah M'Barach V'Alam Almei Almaya Yit Barak V'Yishtabak V'Yit Pa'ar V'Yit Romam V'Yit Naseh V'Yit Adar V'Yit Alev V'Yit Alal Shemei D'Kudusha B'Richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechamata Ta'amiran B'Alma V'Imru Amen Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen Osei Shalom B'Mromav Huya Asei Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Having connected with those that we've loved and lost, you're invited to connect with each other as we share the words of the priestly benediction. May God bless you and keep you. May God's presence be with you and be gracious unto you. The circle of family, of friends, and of community, may you find the presence of God, and may that presence bring you peace. Please be seated. Take a moment for Shakyanu moments, for wonderful things that happen, like reading Torah the week before Rosh Hashanah. That counts. You get points for that. Other wonderful things happening in people's lives. Yeah, Ron?
I have a new grand dog.
Oh, a new grand dog. Wonderful. You know who the father is? Good. Wonderful. Other good things. Nothing. We got nothing. No? All right. Well, to a good new year ahead. Oh, yeah. Feel free, chair.
See, believe, then achieve.
Well done. Amen. So we'll share Shakyanu for all the good things that have happened in our week as we walk into this new year together, praying for health and happiness and time together. For tomorrow night, we're having our B'nai Mitzvah students change the covers on our Torah. If you haven't been here for Slichot. It's a wonderful entryway into the High Holy Days, to see the way that the sanctuary looks at the High Holy Days, to hear the music, and we're going to have wine and dessert, I think, beforehand, so there's no reason not to. Sorry.
And we have Mickey on piano tonight and tomorrow, and we will be joined tomorrow by cello and violin. It's absolutely beautiful music. Please join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
We'll stand as we'll hear the
Please rise.
shofar.
Tekiah. Shavarim. Teruah. Sorry. Tekiah Gedolah. Leshana Tova Tikatevu. Leshana Tova Tikatevu. A good year, a year of peace, we wish to you. Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova.